Okay, now I'd like to talk to you about something that's near and dear to my professional heart, the internship. Okay, the internship for business students is a little bit different than internships for other academic disciplines such as medicine and education. Business internships aren't placements like these other areas. That is, the internship is very similar to employment in nature. That is, the employer typically wants to interview the potential intern and bring them on as very similar to an employee. But the difference there about the internship is it's for a limited period of time generally, and here's the important part that employers and students need to understand about internships, because most employers misuse internships. That is, they treat business school interns as part-time employees, or in some cases full-time employees. Well, that's fine in one instance where the intern is paid. If the intern is paid, then they are an employee, and that's fine. But if the intern is not paid, the unpaid internship, in order to not run afoul of the Fair Labor Standards Act and certain provisions of the Internal Revenue Code for tax and payroll withholding purposes, and other rules as far as unemployment tax, federal or state unemployment tax, and workers' compensation. To not run afoul of these rules, an intern should not be a replacement for an employee. That is, the internship should be strictly a learning experience. Okay? Now, if it's a learning experience, that means it's a primary benefit to the student and only an incidental benefit, if any at all, to the employer. So it's more of a mentorship learning experience rather than something that resembles employment. So the way it's misused by most employers is, like I said, they bring the intern on and they treat them like an employee. They give them tasks, and it really is to replace an employee. Okay, and but the internship is for a specified period of time. So with that being said, students who are treated like employees are basically a part-time or a temporary employee that they can get rid of at will or keep, but there's no expectation of benefits and things like that. So, but the internship by its very nature serves an incredibly important human resources function for employers to bring people in and see how they fit. As I've said in a prior lecture, try it before you buy it type scenario. And internships often lead to part-time or full-time employment. Part-time while the individuals are in school, or full-time employment thereafter. But so to summarize, just remember this, that if an internship is paid, it's fine to use the intern as an employee. If the internship is not paid, then it needs to be simply a learning experience. Generally that means giving the intern a project of some sort where they can be supervised and learn from it, but the benefits to the employer are incidental. Now, the rules are a little bit different for a nonprofit than a for-profit corporation, because individuals can always donate their time to a nonprofit. The main distinction there is when you're interning for a nonprofit, that the employer, the nonprofit itself, cannot exercise extensive control over your work hours. That is, they cannot demand a level of contribution of time or hours or things like that. Now, they may set up pre-scheduled hours that says if you want to do this, then you have to come during these hours, but that's not necessarily control. That's just segmenting of time. So anyway, so remember that about the distinction there for paid versus unpaid internships, and the distinction there between for-profit and nonprofit, and the true nature of the internship as a learning experience, and how that can be an important jumping off point for employers in bringing on talented new employees, and it can be a great source of experience and, most importantly, connections for the student. So taken together, an internship is a very valuable proposition, but we'll we'll delve into that further in our next videos regarding obtaining an internship and their value.